Hello, friends. Welcome back. Last night was the first UFC fight night of the Paramount Plus era, the Paramount era. I believe it was UFC Vegas 113 in the Apex, obviously. It was a phenomenal fight night. Great fight night. Best fight night so far, obviously, on Paramount Plus. But even going beyond that, though, it was probably one of the better fight nights that we've had in a while. But it kind of goes back to what I've been saying for a long time, where a lot of you guys just straight up hate on the fight nights. Y'all hate on the fight nights. Y'all hate on the early prelims when, as it would be, some of the best fights are on the early prelims and the fucking fight nights. There goes me swearing 1 minute into the video, so no one will see this, but last night was a great night of fights. We'll be recapping every single fight, starting from the early prelim, obviously, all the way up to the main event. We did pretty damn good with the picks and predictions. If I do say so myself, I believe we went 11-2 overall with a handful of perfect picks in there. Just going to count that up real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, 9-2. Yeah. 11-2 on the card. Not too shabby. Multiple perfect picks. First fight of the night. Claudia Segula versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I didn't think this fight was actually going to be dog shitty. I actually also thought I was a little bit late to this as I've been super busy. New job, finishing up school, all that stuff. You don't care. It's okay. No, you probably do care. I'm just saying it. I thought that this fight was kind of in Claudia Segula's favor. I actually thought a lot of these matchups actually clearly had a favorite. You know, of course, there will always be a favorite, but this card maybe more so than others. Claudia Segula, I believe, actually lost her first bout in the UFC, but I knew that she could be something. Priscilla Cachoeira a lot closer to the end than she is the beginning, and she takes an insane amount of damage almost every fight. Now, the thing with Priscilla Cachoeira is actually her timing and her counters can sometimes catch chicks lacking crazy, and she does have some power. You know, she was touching up Claudia Segula and actually hurt her a little bit later on, but Claudia Segula decisively won, was putting hands on her, great combinations, would sometimes get extended counter combinations, talking about Claudia Segula here, where she was just throwing her hands, man, and they were landing. It was beautiful. Moving on. Next fight of the night was Muin Gafurov versus Jakub Wicklacz. Now, I've been jacking Jakub Wicklacz ever since he got in the UFC. I was telling you guys that he was going to smoke Patchy Mix. I've been pumping up jacking Jakub Wicklacz for a minute. Jakub Wicklacz is a legitimate contender and a legitimate prospect as well. I had him winning this fight by decision, and it almost was. Man got a last-second... Wow, I can't believe that. Man got a last-second submission over Muin Gafurov with the guillotine, and you've heard me say, too, his guillotine is his nastiest submission, for real. He's won multiple fights like that, multiple championship fights in other promotions, literally on, I don't want to say a Hail Mary, but a somewhat desperate guillotine. He actually has that. Jakub Wicklacz will really chop your head off. The executioner, Jakub Wicklacz. Shit is crazy. It was a very close fight, though. I thought Jakub won very calmly in the first round. Or actually, no. In the first round, I thought Muin took it. All the way at the end of the first round, I thought Muin took it. The second round is where I think Jakub Wicklacz won. It was all Jakub Wicklacz. The third round, this is the funny thing. Muin Gafurov came out fighting with the level of the sense of urgency that he needed, because I believe that Muin Gafurov was actually winning the third round. I heard at the end that if the fight went to decision, the judges would have given it to Jakub Wicklacz, even if there was no tap, if it went the distance. That's interesting to me, because I actually did think that the third round kind of leaned in favor of Muin Gafurov. The only, even the last 30 seconds, which was the start of the takedown from Muin, and then that led into the guillotine from Jakub, I thought that was not enough to sway it. Obviously, he got the tap, so of course it is. That's a finish. He killed him. But I don't know. If he survives that, I don't know if that's still Jakub's fight. Jakub did win, though, however. Great finish. Sensational finish. One of the best submissions that we'll probably see of the year. And it's February, so early February. Great fight. That's why you should watch the early prelims. Moving on, Wang Tong versus Eduardo Mora. Eduardo Mora, very legit. Wang Tong, ups and downs, actually. You know, we had to see a little bit more. Excuse me. I'm actually probably going to leave that in unless I do it multiple times, in which case you won't see anything. But Wang Tong actually did improve her grappling. Striking looked a little bit, not crisper or cleaner necessarily, but a little bit more accurate from Wang Tong as well. I like that she has some unorthodox, like, bizarrely set up strikes, like, to the body, to the head, but they land and they're powerful. Wang Tong does have a lot of power. Eduardo Mora is very powerful herself and a skilled grappler, but Wang Tong just had it, was really hurting Adora with the strikes. The grappling was pretty close. Almost finished Eduardo, actually, with the striking, but Eduardo was able to recover, survive. Wang Tong won by decision. It was a close fight. It was closer than the damage would have you believe. Like, if you just looked at those women, like, as soon as the bell rung at the end of the fight, and you're like, damn, Eduardo Mora, like, looks like she's, like, fucked up. She was, but it was closer than that. It was closer than the damage might lead you to believe. Moving on. Great fight for Wang Tong. Javid Basharat versus Gianni Vasquez. Great fight, man. I thought Javid was going to win. I was kind of concerned about his chin as he did get knocked the fuck out in his last fight. But on the other side of that coin, Gianni Vasquez stepping up. Short notice. Not in the UFC previously. You know, man's a replacement. Man's a body. He fought his ass off. Both dudes dropping each other. At first, it looked like Javid was going to kind of take over and beat his ass calmly, but no. This man, Gianni Vasquez, had a different plan. Man was really trying to take the fight by the end of it, but I thought the decision was correct. In the game of hit and not get hit, I think Basharat just did a way better job. I know that the striking numbers were close, and they kept on they were saying they love to say this shit in like a close fight. Even if the striking isn't like that close, like I didn't think the striking was that close. You know, this man Vasquez started to land on Basharat, but Basharat was landing at like almost like 3 times the accuracy. Like Gianni Vasquez was hitting like 30%. Basharat was like close to 50, or like maybe even above 50 if I remember. Like in half the strikes, you know, like that, but there's like a 2-3 strike differential between the two. And it's on more effective striking, you know, not just like. Anyways, I digress. Johnny fought his ass off, especially in the later rounds, man. Recovered from a bad knockdown early on that I thought was going to finish him. I think there's definitely a space in the UFC for Gianni Vasquez. I will be looking forward to his next fight. Hopefully they give him something a little bit, not more competitive, as this was competitive, man. Almost won. But maybe take a step back. As a Basharat brother, either one on your debut is a little spooky. I think we can all admit that, but that was a great win for Javid. Moving on to the first incorrect pick of the night. Bruno Brazil versus Ketlin Souza. I had Bruno Brazil winning this one by decision, but here's the thing. I've been jacking that Bruno Brazil is a shitter. Like, she's actually a fucking horrible fighter ever since she's been in the UFC. You can go back and watch my videos. This time I was just like, yo, she's huge. In better form than Ketlin Souza is right now. Hopefully she can just edge it out. Absolutely not. It's so bizarre, too, because also I hate Bruna's face. She's a beautiful woman. She's actually a beautiful woman. But she has one of the smuggest, like, most scumfuck, smug fuck, smirking faces that I've ever seen on a human being, man or woman. Like, I actually hate that. It pisses me off to look at her a little bit. Like, you could see it right before the fight started. You know, she was bouncing around in that purple. She was like, I'm like, yo, bro, like, you're doing that to run away, to turn your back and fucking run in an enclosed cage. Where are you running? There's nowhere to run. And we'll get to that. Bruna was doing okay, actually. It's weird because Bruna, like, misses. She literally will, like, attempt to throw, like, just a jab or some shit, or, like, a roundhouse kick to the body. That shit will whiff, go horribly wrong, and then she'll land, like, like a hook kick to the face, spinning back kick to the head. Like, it's like fucking really weird. It's so weird, man. I hate watching Bruna fight the more that I think about it. Fuck Bruna Brazil, in fact. No more talk about Bruna's fight. Ketlin Souza did her thing. She was down early, literally had to dig deep, had to make it sloppy. Not the prettiest fight, but she had to do what she had to do. Push Bruna up against the cage. Bruna's smiling and shit, being like, oh, what's this? Like, all right, we all have to understand this. I was saying this about a later fight, too. If the parameters of the fighter, do whatever you want to your opponent, within rules, don't poke them in the eye, don't break their fingers, shit like that. If the fight devolves to this person is trying to push me into the cage and just keep me there, and I don't want to be there, well, if they can push you into the cage and keep you there, they fucking win! They fucking win! They're better than you! You suck, Bruna! You fucking suck, Bruna. But anyways, that's what Ketlin was able to do. Ketlin was able to get that one. I'm so glad, too, because I feel like these two women on paper have, like, flipped careers. I was talking about this in the live stream, Smokey Hours Fight Companion. Every Saturday, every UFC event, I will be live for the entire thing. We'll be on that shit, watching every fight, talking about it. You know the vibes. We've got a nice community. The community is growing. One of the best streams ever yesterday, actually, last night. Thank you guys so much. Ketlin Souza had to do her thing. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. These two women are kind of like opposites, right? Ketlin Souza, I think, on paper, she's better than her record would entail. She actually does have some skill. On the other hand, you see Bruna on paper, you're like, all right, she's actually pretty good type shit. That's pretty good. That's not bad. In the UFC, that's pretty good. But no. You got to sift through a lot of shit that's in there, man. It's nowhere near as good as it looks. And with Souza, nowhere near as bad as it looks. And I think the better fighter won. So we'll leave it at that. Good win for Ketlin Souza. That was the first incorrect pick of the card. Moving on to, it's funny. I actually called technically 3 of the first 5. Technically, I called perfectly 4 of the first 5. I called correct. But I guess I also kind of went into this, like, what's the difference between, like, there's 2 types of perfect pick, I believe, in MMA. I get this from Tapology, of course, but I agree with it. There's a true perfect pick, the traditional perfect pick, which was what you might think of, which is what I had next. I called Nikolai Veretennikov winning by round 1 KO TKO. Is it because Nikolai Veretennikov is nice? He's decent, and he has good power. But Nico Price's chin is gone. If you've watched any of his last 4 fights, you would know that. Even if you just only caught the Robbie Lawler shit, you would have known that. But anyways, I digress. I really was just relying on that. I was like, Nikolai, there's a lot of dudes that could have taken Nikolai's place, and I still would have bet round 1 KO TKO. Now, Nico Price actually took some shots very well off of Veretennikov that I really didn't think he was going to take. There was like a sequence of shots that he took, and I was like, I really don't understand how he's not hurt right now. But talking about Nico Price. But he did get finished, and it was actually hot. It was hot. Like, it made me bite my lip with pleasure. Non-sexual pleasure, but it was hot. Man got knocked out on his feet, and, like, his pinky, if you watch it, his pinky gets caught in the cage, and it's, like, holding up all of his body weight, that pinky. And it was just so fire. It looked like man was just disappointed in himself, like he closed his eyes and he was just leaning against the cage. Or, like, maybe drunk as fuck, but nah, he got knocked the fuck out. And his little pinky was holding up all of his body weight. That was what I loved. Like, that was the shit that got me, like, excited. Again, not sexually. Just the pinky catching him, holding up the weight. I've already spoken too much about that. I'm fucking insane. But that was a calm. And then, obviously, you have, again, going back to perfect picks, you got the traditional perfect pick, round method of victory. And then you got decision perfect pick. That's going to decision. This person by decision. Is there a difference between the two? I believe so, just because I think some fights it's way easier to call that decision. You know the decision's going to happen. Of course, not to be misogynistic or sexist, but with women's fights tend to go the distance a little bit more, so it's a bit of a safer option to hit that decision perfect pick. People like the Basharat brothers, the both of them, do get a lot of decisions. It's not the craziest idea to hit a decision for either one of them. So, Let's see, who was next up? We had Daniil Donchenko versus Donchenko. I keep saying Donchenko. Daniil Donchenko, the Ultimate Fighter, fighting Alex Morono, who I also believe was an Ultimate Fighter as well. The Ultimate Fighter, as in they won the show. Alex Morono, unfortunately, and they actually did even say it, the commentary team said it, they were like, he realizes he's closer to the end than the beginning. That is very true. I thought for that reason, kind of, Daniil was going to knock him out in the first round. Alex Morono really isn't that bad, but I thought he was going to get knocked out in the first round. That didn't happen. It was a decision. Daniil fought his ass off. I actually think it was too hard, personally, but whatever. That was a pretty decent fight. Pretty good scrap back and forth. Pretty good scrap back and forth. And then coming up onto the second true perfect pick, if you want to call it. And I was telling motherfuckers in the chat, yo, put this in, put the bets in. I called Dustin Jacoby round 2 KO TKO over Julius Juicebox Walker. First off, I think that Dustin Jacoby won the first round. The only thing that Julius Walker did was get some powerful takedowns. That was it. And it wasn't even like Dustin was like stuck down there. Like he literally would just get right back up afterwards. Like, and there was only one time where he got right back up, and it was just a mat return, a very powerful mat return. Like that was all that Julius did. He landed a couple jabs. Dustin was piecing him up on the feet. I don't give a fuck. Let's talk about it. Talk about it in the comments if you disagree with that. Second round, it's all Dustin. Dustin was already hurting him by the end of the first. It was fucking really... Oh, God. I can't be reminded of it. Now I'm reminded of it. Had a lot of bad beats on over-unders, right? I'm not going to get too much into it. The reffing last night, though, was fucking atrocious. There's a couple guys that shouldn't be reffing fights in the UFC anymore. One of them is Dan Miragliotta. The other one's Keith Peterson. Why? Keith Peterson gets a little bit more leeway... But I feel like this motherfucker Keith Peterson, like, be doing shit to prove a point sometimes. Like, he was saying, this man Daniil Donchenko almost finished Alex Morono, right? Round number 1. Man's hitting him, like, here. Not the back of the head, here. Bro's fucking pounding on him. Pounding on Alex Morono. Alex got dropped bad. Doesn't stop the fight, and he's like, you're hitting the back of the head. And then fucking Donchenko's still swinging on him, looking up at Keith Peterson. Keith Peterson's just like, I didn't stop the fight. I swear to God, and that's what I mean by, like, man's doing that to prove a point. Like, oh, yeah, like, he's in charge. We know you're fucking in charge, Keith, bro. Like, think about this, man. Think about Alex Morono, bro. He has a family, man. Like, and so what happened? Instead of getting a round 1 KO TKO that Alex would have been a lot better off with, man got his ass beat for the whole fight. So... it is what it is. Not like he didn't land shots on Donchenko, but if you watch that fight back, he just got an ass beating that was 3 rounds instead of 1. Like, that shouldn't have happened. That dead shouldn't have happened. That dead ass should not have happened. And with the Dustin Jacoby shit, that was actually Dan Miragliotta. 'Twas Dan Miragliotta. There was another fight that actually went really, really bizarre. Bizarre on that shit. I just can't remember if it was Mikhail Alexejczyk versus Marc-Andre Barriault or if it was John Matsumoto versus Fareed Bashaw. But either way, Dustin Jacoby drops Julius Walker really fucking bad. This one actually did get me a little excited sexually. Just like the element of, like, mercy, no mercy, like, living by the sword, dying by the sword. That shit was hot. But Julius Walker gets dropped to his knees. Not dropped to his knees, actually. Just gets dropped. Dustin Jacoby's still hitting him. This man, Dan Miragliotta, runs over. And to be fair, Dan was saying, I think he said it to Dustin, not to grab the cage. Don't grab the cage. But in the heat of the moment, it was interpreted as that the fight is, like, getting stopped. The ref is coming over and stopping the fight. And he's talking to me. He's telling, So Dustin eases off momentarily. He's like, oh, shit, it's over. Like, it's over. And Julius is still, like, grabbing at him. And he's trying to, like, tell Julius, he's like, yo, it's over. And then Dan's like, no, it's not over. Like, keep fighting, keep going. So he keeps going. Dustin, like, cracks him one more time. Then, like, rips his leg away. And Julius is on his knees. So fucking hot. Like, because I knew what was coming next. There's a clip, right? Do I have time to look on it? I'm going to try to speak while I look at it on my phone. It's a clip from Street Beefs. I have it saved because I fucking love it. Like, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. But it's like, no mercy. Like, man really wanted to see this guy, Julius Walker, get hurt bad. Julius is on his knees. He goes up. Dustin is walking over because Dan Miragliotta's like, yo, finish the fight. And literally just basically, he wasn't defenseless, but an almost defensive Julius Walker just on his knees gets fucking pieced and sent back. And the fight didn't even get stopped after that. So it took a while for that to get stopped. It really did. It was not cool. It was completely unnecessary. And I was screaming, yo, fucking kill Julius Walker then. Like, actually give him permanent damage. Why? Now, people will hear that. Julius Walker, God forbid, man's watching this himself, might hear that and be like, yo, fuck this guy. Come out to the gym, Cole. Bro, that's not how I personally feel. That's how the ref feels. That's actually how I don't know if that's your colleague necessarily, but, like, the dude that's supposed to be responsible for your safety in there, essentially, he wanted that to happen. He wanted to see you get hurt really bad. He didn't think that the fight was over. So I just want, I'm just excited. I want to see that shit happen quicker. So I'm going to scream it out. You have to take that as it is. You got to take it as it is. Fuck, I'm really trying to find this juicy clip of, man, getting hit with no mercy. Like, straight up no mercy. It is a Street Beefs clip. I've actually seen it go viral a couple times. Damn, where is this shit? Oh, yeah, I'm about to find it. Found it. Okay. Yeah, man was talking about how this is like just...
Scrapper, hope I have fun, and I hope I don't gas out. Cannikin 170.
Yeah, it's just an experiment, just an experiment.
Yeah, let's go.
Just an experiment, let's go. This is the rare, I guess, fucking double, like, almost fight companion. One fight companion. Man opens up with some side kicks. Yeah, very valid, right? Yeah, valid.
Turn up, Bill.
I love that shit, bro. Look, he looked up, looked at him. Ah! Holy shit. Shit made my fucking dick twitch. But, in all seriousness, that's basically what had to happen to this man, Julius Walker. It's funny, too, because Julius Walker be talking on Twitter like he's like a mastermind picking fights that he knows he can win. That's what I love. Even though I think with this one, there was a little bit more than that. I think actually both mans had a fight or were supposed to fight other people. Shit fell out. They were like, yo, let's run it. And they did. Anyways, I've talked way too much about that one. Moving on, John Matsumoto versus Farid Basharat. I said Farid Basharat by decision. It was a decision. Close-ass fight. I actually was saying that Farid maybe even gets a KO TKO here because John Matsumoto leads with his chin often. He relies on his chin. He was getting his ass beat. I actually didn't think that it should have been a split decision. I thought Farid won calmly. I thought even there was an argument for 30-27. But anyways, moving on. Mikhail Zajac versus Marc-Andre Barrial. This is another one that I thought it would have been valid to stop it. I think Dan Miragliotta was also like fucking tweaked out of his mind in this one. Might be misremembering it though. Mikhail drops Mark in round one, cracking him with hard ass shots. But he couldn't find the finish for whatever reason, and it was kind of just more of the same. The second round was a little bit more Marc-Andre, but then the third round, Mikhail just put the stamp on it, was just hitting Marc-Andre a fuck ton. Now, on to one of the other really bad beats of the night. But this one really wasn't because of anything else, like because of the ref type shit, like, and the method of victory. I had just bet on Jailton Almeida straight up. And I've realized now, if you bet on Jailton straight, that's one thing. If you bet on Jailton Almeida in a parlay, you actually deserve to lose. You do. Like, I deserve to lose. I do. But Jailton fought like shit, like a complete shitter. I was scared that Rizvan Kuniev is nice. You know, he looked like he had some promise in his debut, even more promising now. But Jailton Almeida just fought like straight up shit, man. Like straight up shit. Bro couldn't do anything. When he couldn't get a takedown, he basically gave up. He was helpless. And then he just started to gamble with the striking, but it was actually valid. But then man was like pussy. It was strange. It was dead. Bro just got beat by a fucking fat, light heavy, by a fat-ass middleweight. That shit was crazy to me, bro. That shit's actually crazy to me. Fuck Jail. They deadass should cut Jailton Almeida. That's really... It's only joking a little bit, but I'm mainly being serious. In fact, that's it. Great fight for Rizvan Kuniev. Jump up the rankings quickly in the UFC. Nice decision win. Amir Albazi versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I thought Kyoji had a chance for a submission, but there were, I guess, moments, but nothing ever really crazy. Kyoji did beat this man Amir's ass. Amir had moments too, though. Amir did have moments. Kyoji actually showed out a lot with the striking this time around. And the movement was crazy from Horiguchi. Absolutely crazy. Albazi tried his hardest, but he just couldn't do it. And Horiguchi won a decision. Moving on to the main event, Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. I had called Mario Bautista. I called Mario Bautista by decision. During the stream, right before the fight, I changed it. I was like, yo, the official, well, I didn't change it. The official pick is decision. I can't go back and change that. But my in-person, like if you want to throw in some last-minute action, I changed it to submission. I didn't choose a round, but I did say submission. It happened in round 2. Mario Bautista smoked Vinicius Oliveira. I don't know why out of nowhere, or I do know why, because Vinicius has some good wins. But I don't know why people thought simultaneously that Vinicius is like this like world beater and Mario is a shitter. Mario has never been a shitter. I've been telling y'all that. There was a moment in time where Mario Bautista was one of my most hated fighters to watch. Like, I actually hated this motherfucker. You might ask yourself why. Because I think he got a robbery win over Damone Blackshear years back when Sean O'Malley smoked Aljamain Sterling. I thought that was a robbery. I thought Damone won. And Damone was one of those dudes who I was like, Damone was like in my head who Mario Bautista was before I really knew about Mario Bautista. Like I knew about Damone Blackshear. I was like, that's the monster for real. But Mario Bautista after that fight really was on that monster shit. Man was going off. Man was really going off, winning fights, winning good fights against good comp. Damone Blackshear on the other... Well, this isn't about Damone Blackshear, but... Vinicius Oliveira, on the other hand, right, in his debut fight, gets a vicious knockout, flying knee knockout over Bernardo Sopai. Here's the problem. And I've been repeating this. I'm going to sound like a broken record. More people are starting to catch on to it. If you watch that fight back, I watched it live. Bernardo Sopai was beating his ass. Kind of on some Mario shit. Like, not punching the fuck out of him, but actually outstriking him and literally ragdolling him. Like, just throwing his bitch ass around. Vinicius himself gassed, which he usually does. But the thing with Bernardo is Bernardo death gassed. He actually death gassed. Like, he could barely fucking move. Man had to flee. He tried to flee, got chased down, got hit with the knee, and it was over. It is what it is. But then Vinicius started acting like he was like really hot shit. Anybody that's been on Reddit, like in the past couple months, maybe saw there was like a string of videos that like man was releasing from his gym where he was beating the fuck out of like his sparring partners, like actually fucking them up. Like, and he was like, yeah, if you're tight, you just don't understand. You wouldn't get it. Like, Lockdog is also a dumbass nickname. Like, even, like, the bro sounds, also his voice is weird. It sounds like he's doing, like, this, like, constant imitation of Brandon Moreno. Like, even in the little promo slop, man's like, I think there's a lot of ways this fight can go between me and Mario, but I go for a knockout. I think knockout. I'm like, what do you mean you think knockout, bro? Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, this man Vinicius, I was kind of preying on his downfall a little bit. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened in such decisive fashion. Your king, the guy who you said was going to be a world beater and knock Mario Bautista's dumbass back to the prelims, guess what? Your man gassed within 2 rounds and got tapped the fuck out. Quick, too, with the quickness. No fighting the choke, just emphatic tap. Like, yo, ref, please, I need help. I give up. I submit. And I know Vinicius is the type with a little ego, same thing. If man sees this video somehow, he'd be like, yo, bro, come out to the gym. Let's see if you keep that energy. Gym to this dick. You're gym to this dick, bro. Shit crazy. Fuck Vinicius. Mario Bautista's our new boy. He's been our boy, actually, on this motherfucker. But man actually does have champion potential, a legitimate contender in Mario Bautista. I'm very, very excited and looking forward to the rest of his career and his next fights from here on out. Great night of fights, man. We won a little bit of money at the end. I threw in the last bit of last bit of cash on a straight bet on Mario Bautista by sub. That was not that bad. Like $23. we should have won, honestly, like around 300. But between Jailton Almeida and Danilo Donchenko versus Alex Morono not ending in under 1.5 rounds, that was dog shit. I don't even want to think about that, actually, because my vibe was actually killed for a long time after that. If you were in the stream, you would know. Like, sometimes, like, after a bad beat like that, I need sometimes, like, 2 fights. Not even, like, 10 minutes. Like, I need dead-ass, like, 2 fights. Like, fucking, like, 45 minutes, like, to get back into, like, the groove. But, yeah, great fights. Thank you to everybody that showed out. Vinicius Oliveira, no, I wasn't saying fuck your gym. No, I didn't really mean that, of course. Not Nice Cole as a character. Only a fool would take anything that he says as fact. No, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for watching. Everybody that was in the Smoky Hours Fight Companion yesterday, shit was popping. One of the best Smoky Hours Fight Companions today. And literally it is because of you guys. You know, it really doesn't have much to do with me. Thank you guys all for watching. As always, much love. Big kiss.